Common interview questions, conversations about mining. Hi, Jess. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Andrew. How are you going?
Good, thank you. I see you giving a bit of free advertising to your partner from the
I'm
background there.
beyond bricklaying. If you need any commercial bricklaying done, give him a shout. I'm working from his offices this week.
Yep. So they're out on Rotto, aren't they?
They are. They're doing the new lodge out on Rottnest Island, and they've got a couple of other big projects in the city and an Applecross at the moment. So yeah,
Yep.
they've got a.
Anybody looking for any bricklaying? I think you posted it around that they need a couple of labourers.
They do need some labourers, and they're always looking for good brickies too. So if anyone's looking to make the switch into commercial, yeah, give us a shout out.
Yep, cool. Now we got that little advert out of the way. I can share some good news. I just want to have a shout out to Michael, who let us know that he was working as a truck driver in New South Wales for a contractor for a little while, for about 5 months, and he's just signed over owner operator. And another person on the YouTube channel let us know that he did the DIY package and he's just got a traineeship or doing the medical for a traineeship in Queensland for a truck driving job. So well done to everybody.
Awesome,
Yeah.
guys. That's awesome.
Excellent. So the question that I want to ask you today is common interview questions. What are some of the common interview questions?
So the most common questions, this is kind of a generally common questions, but these are definitely going to be asked if you're going for a mining or a FIFO role. The most common questions you'll be asked is, why do you think that you are suited to this role? You know, what makes you stand out from other candidates, or, you know, what makes you special, and why do you think you'd be good in this role? And a lot of people struggle with this question, especially if they don't have a mining background, or maybe they're coming in completely green. Maybe they're they've worked at Bunnings, or they're a hairdresser, or they've just never had any experience. And a lot of people struggle with that question. And that's where it comes down to really doing your research about what skills are involved in those roles and what transferable skills you have, because I've never ever worked with anyone in the last kind of 4.5 years that doesn't have some type of transferable skills. So, and it can be a matter of actually looking back into, maybe your family's had a farm and you've operated tractors or done fencing, or maybe your dad's got a landscaping business, or you've helped your uncle, operate a bobcat. It can be that kind of simple stuff that's where you need to come in, and you need to be really prepared for that question, because there's nothing worse than someone coming into an interview and you asking that question, which 9 times out of 10 you have to ask, and they kind of go, oh well, I just really want to operate a dump truck, or I just really want to be an offsider. You really need to have that question clear. I think that's probably the number one. You need to figure out, what you're bringing to the table. What do they want to hear from you? They want to hear that you've got the skills that they're looking for.
And that's where education can come into it.
100%. You need to know exactly what you're talking about. You need to say, be able to talk to them about X, Y, Z, and they go, wow, like you've done your research. You know what this job entails, and you know exactly, what we're looking for and how you can help.
I had a guy get a job on the spot answering that question the right way in Kalgoorlie once. So this was probably about 2.5 years ago now. But his response to that question was that, basically, what do I bring to the table? Well, I've prepared myself. I know you guys lose, more than 50% of your new starters, and I've put myself in a position where that's not going to happen to me. And that went down really well.
Yeah, it does, because at the end of the day, you have to think whether they're a shift boss or whether they're a superintendent or maybe an owner of a smaller company or a director, they don't want you to cost them money. They want to make money out of you. So it always does. It comes down to that simple fact that they want you to get in there, train as quickly as you can, and be making them money, not wasting their money. So
We've done some videos on this before. Mining's all about money. Don't let anybody tell you any otherwise.
It is. And that's where the next question comes in, where people are like, why do you want this job? What are you looking for? Within mining is a little bit different than anywhere else. Most other industries do not want to hear that you're in it for the money, but in mining, they want to hear that. They want to hear that you're driven by money and that you've got goals. I want to save to buy a house in 2 years. I want to set my family up. I want to travel. I want to do X, Y, Z. I'm here to make good money. I want to progress so that I can make more money. They want to hear that, because that means you're going to have longevity in that role. You're someone that's going to stick around because you've got goals, you're focused on them, and even if the job maybe is a bit hard or not quite what you expected, or it's a bit full on, you're going to stick with it because you are driven by money. And they do want to hear that, and it's probably one of the few industries that they do actually want to hear that from you in an interview.
Yeah, I know many foremen that won't touch people unless they, not Jerry Maguire, show me the money, but you have to tell them that you want toys and you want to use your money to pay houses off and all that sort of stuff. I had an old foreman that used to have a saying, give me a spender any day of the week over a saver, because I've only got a saver for 5 years while they pay their house off. I've got the spender for life. And yeah.
Definitely. The other thing that they really want to hear from you is that you can get along with anyone. And so you may get a question which may seem random to you, like, have you ever had it, have you
How have you dealt with a difficult person?
How have you dealt with a difficult person? Or have you ever seen anything in the workplace, and like, how did you respond to that? Say someone, not following rules or not following safety regulations. And what they want to hear from you in those questions is that, A, you're not the difficult person. They don't want someone to whinge on about their previous boss or their previous co-workers that were hard work and they were toxic and they bullied me. They don't want to hear any of that. They want to hear that you can get along with everybody, that you'll confront people, obviously not in an aggressive way, but that you will go to someone to their face and say, hey, what's the problem? You'll try and work it out in a mature way. And if that doesn't work, then you're going to go to the next level and speak to a manager or speak to an HR. That's really what they want to see. They want to see that you can stand up for yourself, but you're not aggressive, you're not causing dramas, and you can kind of get along with people. Yeah. Because it's really important, like Andrew will say, when you're working away for long periods of time, especially underground, it's full on, and your workmates become your family. You have to be able to get along with people. You can't have people in there that are causing dramas or picking fights or complaining about people left, right, and centre over silly things. You have to be able to work that stuff out.
They don't want people that are going to run to teacher every 5 minutes. That's the way I used to describe it. They want people that are going to try and sort it out themselves. But then if obviously you can't sort it out, then that's the appropriate time to get the shift boss involved, because that's what they're there for.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a fine line there, I guess, between, sorting it out yourself, and then knowing that, if it can't be sorted out or the other person's maybe being unreasonable or difficult, that you are going to go and say, hey, this isn't working.
Or dangerous.
Yeah, or dangerous. Yeah. And that's the other question, is usually, have you seen something unsafe in the workplace, or have you seen someone doing something unsafe in the workplace, and what would you do? And again, it's about you saying, I would go and speak to them and say, hey, that's not okay. You shouldn't be doing that, or you should have your PPE on, or whatever the issue is. Or you shouldn't be on your phone is a big one that we have been talking about.
But before we started recording, we were both swapping stories about people that had just been sacked because they'd been mucking around on their phone.
Yeah.
You know a digger operator, and I had lunch with a guy that I know, and they had a truck driver slam a truck into a wall. He was pretty happy because he thought he was only going to get away with, like the guy I know, he has to fix it, and he was pretty happy that he thought he could only get away with 145,000, to fix it. But if it had to be replaced, it was like going to be $500,000. But it was like an instant window seat, because the guy was like, I was just changing my Spotify setting on my phone. And it's like, well, what are you doing with your phone?
Yeah, the digger op that I heard about was on his phone. Yeah. Just his phone in the cab when they have a complete like blanket rule, no phones. Like, your phone is to be left in the crib rooms or in your locker. And he got walked out of the digger and get in your car and go home. It was a drive in, drive out site. So please don't use your phones on site.
All the explosives is all detonated via radio signals, via normally a computer that sends out a radio signal to the detonator and sends it off. All the stuff that your phones are spewing out. That's why they don't want you to use a phone anywhere there. It's because of that.
Yeah, it is. And not to mention, if you are operating a massive heavy piece of machinery and you run someone over, or go into someone else's zone, or maybe, cause someone else to have an accident, it's just not safe. So please don't do that. And that's what they want to see, is that you are proactive with safety, that you are going to follow the rules and the regulations, and that you have the guts to kind of stand up and say to someone, hey, you're not doing the right thing. And if that doesn't stop them from doing that, or there's an incident of some sort, that you are going to go and report it. Obviously, the other thing they want to hear about is safety, safety, safety. So I always say, if you're stuck in an interview and they ask you a question and you're not sure of the answer, or you're unsure of what they want to hear, always relate it back to one of those three things: how you are going to be good at this job, or how your previous skills or your recreational skills, like maybe it's motorbikes or boats or operating something, and then safety. always bring it back to safety, 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 and or getting along with people. So if you can just think of those three things in the back of your mind while you're in an interview, 99% of the time you will do well, and you'll kind of give them the answers that they want to hear.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So that's excellent. Thank you for that, Jess. And if you've got any more questions that you'd like to ask, please send them through. And if you could share the video around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.
See ya.